Hi, I'm Phil Spencer, and welcome to the Move IQ podcast home selling series, the only podcast series dedicated to help you sell your property. This season is sponsored by Go2 Group, who have a concierge service that can help you with all you need, from choosing the right agent, mortgage advisor, solicitor, surveyor, even removals. Plus, using Go2 online auctions or their committed buyer service to sell your home can give you certainty and peace of mind. We've added a link below so you can connect with them. Enjoy the podcast and hope you find it useful. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 4 of our series about selling houses, and we're going to be talking about viewings and how they should be conducted, because it is absolutely a key part of the process. Can you get people? You've got somebody through the door, now you've got to make the most of it.
Let's kick things off. Here's a question for you. So regardless of whether we're doing this ourselves or whether we've got an agent doing it for us, clearly it's important to declutter, to clean up. We kind of touched on this a little bit in regards to the last episode and investing a bit of money with liquor paint here and there and things like that. But we're talking about just general clearing up. No one's going to want to walk into a house with a load of dog hair all over the place and kids' toys in the way of door frames and things like that. Oh, I bet. So this is just the starting point, though. But I believe that you've got a little bit of an axe to grind on this to begin with in regards to people specifically working with an agent, but then doing a lot of these viewings themselves.
Yeah, I do. I'm amazed at how many people that I meet who handle their own viewings, even though they've instructed a regular high street agent and are paying them a healthy fee. Part of that service in my book is actually handling the viewings on your behalf.
Why do you think people do this?
I don't really know. But it's either because the agents ring them up and go, I'm terribly sorry, I've got another appointment, I can't do it, can you?
Unacceptable in my book.
I would have said so.
Right there. Do you think maybe there's a little bit of pride that comes into play here, or inquisitiveness, like they want to see what people are going to say and do when they walk through the door kind of thing?
You're right. Certainly a lot of people feel that they know more about their house and their neighbourhood than anybody else, including the estate agent. That may very well be right.
Of course. And
so they perhaps have an inclination that they should be the one that handles the viewing. It's not very difficult to go, this is a bedroom, that's a bathroom.
Right.
You know, nobody needs anyone to say this is a bedroom, that's a bathroom. But an estate agent, by the nature of their job, I mean, you pick them, you've instructed them, they've won your business. That they should be trained. They are trained into selling. And dealing with viewer feedback and perhaps any negativity that might come about your property, and kind of counterbalancing it.
Well, it's a bit like you wouldn't hire a gardener, for example, or a landscaping company on a quarterly retainer or whatever, and then go out and cut the grass yourself a week before they turned up.
I don't know. We're a funny lot, us, Chris, because how many people clean up before the cleaner comes? You know? Does it?
All the cleaners coming. I don't want them to think I'm that messy, kind of thing, right?
I think agents are good at their jobs. Let them do their jobs. As personally, I wouldn't recommend that a vendor, a person selling, should be in the house, particularly on a first viewing. If you've got a dog, take it out on a walk. The dog shouldn't be in the house. The pet shouldn't be in the house. Let the agent do their thing with the buyer without any interruptions. Right. It may very well be that on a second viewing, somebody comes back, they are interested, then that could be a good time to meet them. And whether they've got any questions, you can talk about the school, you can talk about the neighbours, you can talk about the weather, the garden.
Now, this is funny because we touched a little bit in the last episode about us buying our property here.
Yeah.
When we went to see the property initially, the owners were there. And we did have a good chat with them. But one of my clear kind of requests the second time round was I didn't want them around for our second viewing. I wanted to be able to have the place for as long as I wanted it, to be able to walk around with my wife and talk about certain things.
You wanted the freedom to be able to explore and imagine you living in that house. And actually, I think that's quite difficult to do when somebody's following you around. Give me some space. I
Absolutely.
need to picture myself. And I also need to talk to my partner openly and honestly at the time, rather than when we get in the car afterwards.
Right, exactly. So is there anything else? I mean, very sneaky suspicion this episode is going to be a bit of a shorter one here, but I mean, is there other bits and pieces that we should be aware of on these viewings? Or is it very much a matter of get out of the way, let the agent take care of it for you, and hopefully you'll get a positive result?
I think viewing feedback is absolutely vital. You may have 50 people come and see your house. Actually, it's important to get feedback all the way through, because whilst 50 people come through, the chances are the market's going to change during that period. So what are people saying? And you do need people to be honest. Sometimes they'll make up an excuse when they weren't that serious anyway. But actually, if people aren't liking the kitchen, or people feel it's got too much work, or people feel it's too expensive, then that's gold dust to you as a motivated seller, because you can kind of react accordingly.
Lean into it in one way or the other. Yeah.
And the agent should be getting that feedback for you. Honest feedback is really useful.
What about safety here? Just real quick, let's touch on this, because obviously these are people that have never, these prospective buyers, they've never walked around your property either on the inside of it or the outside of it before. You know where your dodgy tile in the patio is, or where the decking is a little loose, or maybe that sort of stuff. Do we have to worry about this?
I think we all have to worry about that kind of thing in today's health and safety mad world. And there is a case of someone, I think a viewer fell in a well or something in the garden that wasn't pointed out. So if there is a risk issue, then it's only right and proper that should be pointed out to your viewer.
I must say, just as an aside here, one of the biggest turn-offs for me when we were looking at properties was the owner clearly had a dog or 5, and there was dog mess all over the garden.
Not a good look.
And I just said to my wife, it's a lovely house, but this has turned me off horrifically. I can't even walk down to the end of and have a look inside the shed. It was like playing hopscotch, getting down the, little things like this, I think, make a big, big difference, right?
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, pets, I have 2 dogs, but you can't smell your own pets because they're in the house all the time. But rest assured, somebody coming around probably can. So the dogs should be out on a walk.
Particularly if they are pet-free as well. Yeah.
Wash the dog's beds, cat litter, all, it's got to go. And for goodness sake, pick up the dog poo out of the garden. It's not that difficult.
Don't forget the dog poo. If there's any takeaway from this episode, it's that one right there. All right, good stuff. We're going to be back at you again with another episode coming right back up. We're going to be talking all about actually how to get this moving, how to actually speed up the sales process, so we're not waiting any longer than we need to sell and to move on to the next part of our life. It's
all about momentum, and it's absolutely crucial in property deals to get it from the start.
We'll be back at you, episode 5. See you then.
Thanks.